Hello, this is the Gaming Space, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today we will be looking at the Real Solar System mod, which is basically a mod that makes the whole Kerbin system 10 times bigger than it is, because regular Kerbin is only about 600 kilometers in diameter, which is about, like I said, 10 times smaller than the real Earth. And basically, this, like I said, the scales up everything by 10, but not only that, your delta V to get into orbit is like reality, because in Kerbal Space Program, the amount of delta V you need, which is the amount of velocity you need, which means if you need more velocity, that means you need more fuel, is about half that you need of Earth, because the delta V in getting orbit around here is about 10,000 meters per second, while on Kerbin it's only about 5,000 meters per second. And another cool feature of this is if you go in the tracking station like I am now, you can choose your launch site. Like right now I've selected Cape Canaveral. You could use from Warps, this is Brownsville, and you can even go over here to the Cosmodrome, I think. Yeah, here's Baikonur. And then there's like the Chinese sites. There's an Indian site, an Australian one. I didn't know they had one in Africa. Anyways, back to that. Well, actually, let's go back in the tracking station. And, so you see in the moon here, there's no longer minimus around, because the Earth obviously does not have two moons. And the reason this is inclined, though, is because the people at Real Solar System, they couldn't figure out how to rotate the Earth 27.2 degrees because that's the tilt of the equator. So what they did instead was they tilted the moon by 27.2 on a 27.2 degree inclination. And if we go over here, it looks way more realistic. It doesn't have as big as craters as on the moon. Well, I mean, it's big, but not relative to the size of the moon itself. And if we go to, let's see if we can see. I have a thing that I just put infinite fuel on and see how close I could get to the sun. But let's go to Eve. It's no longer that purple and that gives in regular Kerbal Space Program. It is now like actual Venus, but this is without the atmosphere, of course. Let me see if I can see. It has in it a radius of 6,052 kilometers and all that stuff. Let's go now to Moho, which is now Mercury, and you see it doesn't have. I mean, it has a slight atmosphere, probably about like 1,000th of the thickness of ours, and it's mainly hydrogen coming off from the sun, which is right about here, and that gets trapped around Mercury. But that's a very, very little amount of hydrogen. And so let's now go to the sun, which is now, wait, what? No, here we go. See, it has an equatorial radius of 700,000 kilometers, which is actually like the real sun. And so now if we go to Duna, you'll see that it actually has two moons, Phobos and Deimos, and on the correct inclinations, of course. And if we look at Duna, it no longer has the gigantic ice caps that were on Duna. Like, see this one? That's how little the ice cap is. And so if you really want ice, you should go to the North Pole. That's the main thing on Mars. And Bob's supposed to represent Phobos, which is kind of like potato-shaped asteroid. Its escape velocity is only 14 meters per second. Wow, that's slow. And then Gilly is supposed to represent Deimos. Oh, that's a little smaller. Alright. And then that's that. And if we go to Jewel, which now represents Jupiter, of course. Oh wait, I selected one of the moons. I mean, in reality, Jupiter has about 60 moons, but I mean, they're really, really small, so they only count the major four. So, you see now it has an equatorial radius of 70,000 kilometers. It's no longer green, but it has the proper color of Jewel, I mean of Jupiter. And if we go to Paul, that is supposed to represent Io, which it has a volcanic, which is very geologically active because of the tidal force from Jupiter that's basically pulling on it and causing volcanic eruptions, basically. And if we go out here, Elo is supposed to represent Europa, where there is a predicted ocean under there where there could be life. And so scientists are trying to get a probe there and maybe even drill a hole through to find out if there actually is an ocean. Because it's very likely that there is one under the surface, because most of the content is water ice. And if we go out to Tylo, I think that represents Ganymede. Yeah, that represents Ganymede, which is interestingly even bigger than Moho, or in this case Mercury. And it's actually the largest moon in the solar system, and which has an equatorial radius of 2,624 kilometers. And see, its escape velocity is around the same as Kerbin's in when you have the scaled down solar system. And and last but not least, Ike is supposed to represent Callisto. You can see it has that textured atmosphere, textured surface. And keep in mind that you have to download these textures separately. They do not come with the actual mod. Like, there's different sizes of textures. Like, right now I have a 2048 by 4096. I mean, there's also a smaller one if your computer's not so beefy. Like, I think it's 1024 by something, and then there's also another one that's like insane. It's like 8,000 something ish. And now if we go out to Dres, I think Dres is supposed to represent Saturn. Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't have its rings, which is kind of a problem. And I think Lathe is supposed to represent Titan. Yeah, it's supposed to represent Titan with its methane atmosphere. It's actually the only moon in the solar system that has a thick atmosphere. Let me see. Now if we go out to Minmus, or in this case, Uranus, there's really nothing interesting about this. I mean, it doesn't have any moons, it doesn't have its flipped about rings. There's just a ball of gas in this. But now let's go to Val, which is supposed to represent Pluto. I guess they skipped Neptune. I mean, because Pluto is more interesting, of course. And look how small the sun is from here. Like, it's just another pinpoint of light. But you can see, this is what they spec. I mean, honestly, we don't know what Pluto actually looks like. This is just an artist's speculation, I'm assuming, because we don't actually know until the New Horizons flies by Pluto in about 6 months. And yeah, I've been waiting for that for like the last 3 or 4 years. And it's going to be pretty interesting when it flies about Pluto. And to show you just how hard it is to get in orbit around Earth, I'll show you a common rocket that is a stock rocket. So let's take the, where is it? The Kerbal X. There it is. And I'm going to use wait, what happened here? Oh, after you do shift and then that. Okay. Okay, now we're back in business. Let's just put a mech unit on, because I am too lazy to fly this myself. Why did I put symmetry mode on? I want to put arc. I just like angle snap because it makes things a lot more, exact. And so, if you look at the delta V, it only has 6,376 meters per second of delta V. And if you guys want, I can do, common mod packs, and comparing them to real solar system. I could do FASA, I could do KW Rocketry, and I'll do separate mod reviews on them. But, just to give you a glimpse on how hard it is to get in orbit with real solar system, I could show you how those would work in this mod. So let's set orbit altitude to 250 kilometers, and I will show you. This will definitely not get in orbit, but let's just see how close it gets. So 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Oh wait, I forgot to do the launch clamps. Well, now I can't physically time accelerate because I have to worry about asparagus staging. And now let's do that now. Okay, that did not turn out well. Luckily we did not crash though. That would have been bad. I don't even know why that happened in the first place, but let's just keep going. Oh wait, I forgot to set my utilities to limit terminal velocity. Oh, yeah. Why does it keep doing that? That's weird. Yeah, I might have wasted some delta V there by accelerating too close in the atmosphere, but it doesn't matter. Now I'll be able to physically time accelerate after we separate these and have them explode. Yeah, great. Yeah, and this is also another model called stage recovery, which I will review in another time. But let's just watch this attempt to get in orbit. Like, look at this. If we go here, normally on Kerbin, apoapse of 11 kilometers would look way like this and that. But since Earth is so much bigger than Kerbin, it's like a little dot like that because, you know, just matter of scale. But anyways, I will physically time accelerate, and we'll be back with the video. I will put some music in here, but you know, let's just wait for this to decouple. Wait, what is happening? What is happening here? Yeah, see, at 1,000 meters per second. This would normally look a lot bigger on Kerbin. It would be half the orbital velocity, but alas, you need to be going at 7 kilometers per second. And look at Florida, like, wow. Come on. I don't even want to know how far this gets. But I'll time accelerate, and I'll tell you about this. Well, I mean, also in real solar system, it would be really hard to start a campaign, obviously, because, and here's another, but before that, here's another thing about the what is it called, the textures, is that since I have them at a certain quality, if I get past a certain range of Florida, it'll change into not this nice color like that. It'll change into very kind of pixelated. I don't know if it did it already, or blurry. I think it might have done it already, but it changes to kind of blurry. Oh, this is what you just cut out. See, look at that. That's not even close to an orbit. Like, oh well. I will turn on Smart ASS, and, okay. I'm not going to orbit, so just turn that off. Let me go to I just like to do surface velocity minus mode, because that, like, guarantees you'll go upwards, like to the 90-degree for your parachute opening, and it's not gonna go some crazy weird direction. So let's separate this for reentry. And this mod will be a menace with deadly reentry. And yeah, if you couldn't hear that, that's my. But I'll show you the last feature of this is that reentry in this mod pack is a lot longer than it is in KSP, because obviously you're going at a lot higher velocity. Like, look at that. I'm only twice the orbital velocity of Kerbin. And see, we're at 748. I'll time accelerate until we stop reentering, and see the G-force is going up and up and up. Oh, yeah, they would have been dead. And then let's separate the parachute. That was nearly 2 minutes of reentry, when it would have been like a minute at most for Kerbin, I should say. I'm risking it at 350, but I really don't care. And I'll leave you with this. I'm Gaming Space, signing out.